area, and it's like an hour drive to the nearest anything. Then my cousin and her husband asked if I could babysit all day for 3 days so they could visit some friends in the area and hang out with just adults. I said I had planned on doing freelance work at the library, and she offered to pay me to babysit. I said if they could get close to my freelance rates, she wanted a number, and although my freelance rates are 60, I didn't feel like that was right. It was high, but I didn't want to go too low, and honestly, babysitting 3 kids would be harder for me than the routine coding work I had for my freelance project. I don't know a lot about kids, and I've never babysat for long, and I had a feeling it would be stressful and difficult. So I said 35, which is below what I make hourly at work. What is the bare minimum I'd value my time for, if that time is spent doing difficult work? And she went crazy at me, saying that's a ridiculous rate for babysitting and that I was entitled and being selfish, that I'm trying to take advantage of how she didn't have other options, etc. I said that's way below what I'd be making if I had time to do my own work, and I'd be putting off my own work to babysit. Her husband then got mad at me, saying that I was a 24-year-old girl, that I'm damn near a child myself, and that my time is not worth that much, and it's childish to say that it was, and that I was a stupid girl for not knowing that babysitting costs like $15 an hour. When I grew up and have kids of my own, I will see how stupid I was being. I was kind of done with being called stupid, so I just told them I hope they could find someone else. My mom thinks that I asked for something offensive, and my cousin and her husband obviously did too. Am I the a-hole for giving that number? Not the a-hole. 3 kids all day for 3 straight days? Even real babysitters would charge more than $15 for 3 kids. Obviously they wanted you to do it as a favor and got upset that you treated it as an actual job. Not the a-hole, because asking a kid who is also on vacation to watch your kids for 3 days is kind of crappy. An evening? Sure, but 3 whole days is crazy. Not the a-hole. You are the only one who can put a price on your time because it's coming from your own life. Yeah, I mean, cut and dry, for real. I wouldn't babysit 3 kids for 3 days for $15 an hour. Hell no. I don't know if I could reasonably say 35 because I don't make that much in my own time, but like 25 probably is what I would start at. You know, like, geez. Am I in the wrong for calling my sister's husband useless? My 17F sister, 34F, called me saying that her work had an emergency and she needs to get there ASAP and needed me to watch her kids because no one else can. I rushed over there just to find her husband locked in his game room playing video games. I asked her why she called me over, if he was home, and she said that he didn't want to babysit because it was his only day off. Sister left and I started hanging with the kids. I was changing the baby's diaper and the other kids wanted a snack. I told them to go ask their dad to make them a snack since the baby had a blowout and it was going to take a while to clean him up. Well, their dad sent them back upstairs and told them to ask me again. After cleaning the baby up, I made the kids a snack and their dad came out to eat and told me not to let the kids interrupt him on his day off. By the way, he works part-time from home 6 days a week. I kind of snapped at him and told him it was my day off too and that he's a useless effing father and a husband if his wife has to rely on her teenage sister rather than her own husband. He started telling me that I was disrespectful and didn't understand how hard parenting is. I told him clearly he doesn't understand how hard it is either, since he considers parenting his own children babysitting. He ended up kicking me out and apparently my sister was forced to come home because he told her she needed to figure it out since I'm her sister. I feel like I may be the a-hole because my sister's mad at me, her husband is mad at me, and my mom is mad at me for causing drama. But my dad thinks it's funny and agrees with me. I definitely didn't need to call him names, but I just hate this guy so much. We have argued about things in the past as well, so we already don't have a great relationship. My sister's saying I need to apologize to him, and he is threatening to never let me into the kids' lives if I keep disrespecting him. Not the a-hole. Your sister should be mad at her husband for literally not taking care of his own kids. He was already in the house, but she called you instead? Make it make sense. Not the a-hole. I knew everything I needed to know by the he doesn't want to babysit line. Not the a-hole. Her husband sounds like a deadbeat, and you were right to call him out. I would have left the instant I saw him home. Am I the a-hole for firing an employee after his parents died? Bro. Okay, let's see. You know what? Let's hear him out. Let's hear him out, fellas. Let's hear what he's got to say. I'm the VP of sales at a software company, and one of our sales development reps' parents passed away at the beginning of April. Sadly, they were involved in a car crash and both lost their lives. Now the employee in question is a very young 22-year-old guy and has been with us for about 10 months now. He's a great employee, and we were thinking about promotions in the next 6 months for him. His job is a high-paying one for a new grad, about $90K with commission and base, so we expect a lot from this position. Because of the accident, we let him take 1 month paid leave of absence from work, and he's returned a few weeks ago, and his performance is severely lacking. He's super unmotivated, not cold calling, outreaching to prospects for the last 2 to 3 weeks enough since he's come back. Our whole management team has noticed this, and we decided to let him go because we feel like he'd need months and months to be able to produce again, and we can't just wait that long. We called him into a meeting on Friday afternoon and gave him the bad news, and he was very calm and rude about it. Told us to go F ourselves and got up and went to his desk and grabbed his things and left. I thought this was very, very unprofessional and extremely rude. I told my boyfriend about all of this, and he said myself and my management team are a bunch of asses and with no hearts. Am I the a-hole? You are the a-hole. Generally, people receive a warning about their performance before they get fired. You gave him bereavement leave and then fired him immediately after because he wasn't performing. You're the a-hole in the most complete sense of the phrase. Yeah, okay. I said hear him out. We shouldn't have heard him out because Jesus Christ. Not a warning, not a coaching session or something. Straight from bereavement, back to work, to fired? What the hell? What the hell? That is not okay. I hope that guy sues you. Seriously. Wrongful termination for sure. Am I the a-hole for speaking Italian to my GF's rude Italian-American family and embarrassing them? Recently, I started dating a girl. She's great and I love her so much. I met her family a few nights ago for dinner and she warned me that the male side of her family is very big into being macho and detesting the boys the women date and are very big on take pride in their Italian ancestry. I think besides the grandfather, however, they were almost all born in Bergen County, New Jersey. But whatever, it's nice to take pride in one's heritage. Long story short, at dinner, they kept making jokes at my expense. I honestly would not call it bullying, just things about my height, beard, shaved head, yada yada. They tried to make fun of my IT job too, but stopped once I told them my income. It was overall not a bad experience, but also not a pleasant one. Anyway, her brother kept pushing things, giving me exceptional amounts of crap for playing lacrosse in high school. Apparently it's a sport for prissy rich kids, and not manly like football or baseball. He ended his rant by saying, hey, we're just a big Italian family. We're loud and tell it how we see it. Ha 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 ha. And all the family except my girlfriend laughed, so I, for the next minute, responded to everything they said in Italian. My girlfriend buried her head in shame. The grandfather laughed, and everyone else kept looking at each other confused, before telling me they didn't speak Italian. I replied, then don't use your Italian heritage as an excuse to behave poorly when you can't even speak the language. They got mad, but the grandfather told them all I was right and to be quiet. My girlfriend isn't mad, just ashamed, and I think the grandfather likes me, but word from my GF sister is that all the men are furious, think I'm a smartass, and that I disrespected them and their masculinity in an unforgivable way. So, am I the a-hole? Lamau, the pure savagery from what you said and did is so golden. You totally won the heart of your GF's grandfather, and I wish I had that kind of grandfather, but mine is an a-hole. You and your GF are lucky to have each other, not the a-hole, sending good vibes. Not the a-hole. It sounds like the boys were hoping to put you through a hazing ritual, and you weren't biting it, them in their place. And Grandpa approved. Nah, bro, you're not the a-hole here. Putting Italian New Jersey folk in their place, I would pay to see that happen in real time. Am I the a-hole for making a scene of my adult son and sticking my nose in his marriage? Here's the important background. My daughter-in-law, 32, and son, 33, have 3 children aged 3, 2, and 4 months. He convinced her to be a stay-at-home mom and sell her business by telling her how good of a childhood he had and how happy my marriage was without telling her, which I found out today. That our arrangement was everything before 9 a.m. and after 5 p.m. was split 50-50. Sunday was my day off and I was brought out twice a week. On to the story. On my last visit, I noticed my daughter-in-law was struggling mentally, so I, my sister, 55F, and her girlfriend, 53, pulled our money together and paid for a spa weekend for them while we babysit the kids for her birthday last weekend. I was preparing on Thursday evening for the kids to arrive when my daughter-in-law rang me holding back tears saying that we won't be going because my son's friend came to town and he said he wanted to spend the weekend with his friends catching up. I pressed her a little, and I'm talking a little about her situation, and she came clean about him doing no chores, no date nights, and her basically doing all of the childcare because that's what stay-at-home moms do. I was honestly disgusted, and I convinced her to drop me off the kids and bring a friend to the spa. I even dipped into my savings to give her $500 to buy herself something nice. When she dropped me off the kids, I begged her to tell me where her son was. After 5 minutes, she told me the bar. She left for the spa while I left for the bar. She knew I was going there and knew my sister/my sister-in-law were taking care of the kids. Here's where I might be the a-hole. When I go to the bar where he and his friends were, I sat down next to the group and asked my son, did I fail you as a mother or was it your father? Because we both thought your partner comes before your silly drunk friends. The post is getting long enough, but long story short, I humiliated him and got myself banned from a bar. My daughter-in-law said she will be taking the kids to her parents when she gets back tomorrow, and my son is calling me an a-hole for humiliating him and sticking my nose in his marriage. Maybe I should have stayed out. I don't know. Not the a-hole, but your son sounds like an a-hole. He convinced her to become a stay-at-home mom so he could avoid being a dad. Not the a-hole. Good on you for sticking up for your daughter-in-law. Your son needs a serious reality check. 3 babies and all the chores? He's nuts. Not the a-hole. Your son needed to hear this. Bad behavior from the son. The son, marriage is a commitment. Having kids together is a commitment. And if you don't want to be committed to having kids, don't have kids. And don't put it all on your wife because you think that she can be a stay-at-home mom while you do nothing. It's messed up. Am I the a-hole for getting mad at my artist hid their initials in my tattoo? I went to a tattoo shop in my area with a photo of the tattoo I wanted. It was one my dad had gotten to honor my past grandfather, whose father also had it. But the point is, it was important to me that the tattoo looked exactly as it did in the photo. I get to the shop and I explain everything, and I pay, get the tattoo, and we're done. I think it looks awesome. Everything's great until a few weeks later when I show my great-grandmother the tattoo. She's static, grabbed my arm to look at and compliment it, and then asks, who's AJ? I asked her what she means, and she points out on the tattoo where the initials A and J, or maybe T, were hidden into the tattoo. I'm instantly pissed, as my artist name is Alice Trevor. She tries to assure me it's no big deal if I hadn't noticed it until now, but I still reached out to the artist, sort of irritated. They told me the style of art I got is called traditional, and it's pretty trad for all artists who do that style to do it. I demand a partial refund, and they refuse, so I complained to the owner, who made the artist give me a full refund. Now the artist artist is running a full smear campaign talking about moving shops and is all kinds of crap. My sister says I'm an a-hole for pushing the issue, but I feel like at the end of the day, I told you exactly what I wanted and you didn't do that. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. This person straight up branded you. Not only that, this isn't even the artist's design. It's a copied design. Not the a-hole. Tattoo artists don't get to sign their work because their canvas is a human being. This is known. This is conventionally understood. Not the a-hole. I've been tattooing for almost 20 years and this is something you never do. WTF? Am I the a-hole for not saying anything about the underwear? Ominous, but okay. My 20-year-old daughter and her fiance are currently staying with us, and I love my daughter, but she is very difficult and I can't stand her fiance. I gave them a deadline to move out because I can't take it anymore. They got into massive fights the other day while my wife was out, and I guess a pair of my wife's underwear got in with their laundry, and she thought he was cheating. I think the fact she immediately jumped to cheating shows how bad their relationship is. She was waving the underwear around, and I recognized them because they had a floral print, but I just let this ridiculous fight go on. My wife came home after about 30 minutes and said they were hers. My wife asked if I didn't realize they were hers, and I accidentally laughed. My daughter burst into tears and won't talk to me. Her fiance said we're fricked and left the house, but my wife thought it was funny. Not the a-hole. If your first thought is cheating, not the other woman that lives in this house, you've got issues. You are the a-hole. I don't know why you thought it was a good idea to let her fiance get yelled at and accused of cheating for a simple mistake. There is literally no reason to not point out it was your wife's underwear. Everybody sucks here. Their relationship is bad, but it sounds like you were basically going, I guess this is my soap opera for today. Why would I say anything to stop it? That's pretty toxic too, mate. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think you're kind of being an a-hole. No matter how toxic their relationship is, you have no reason to purposely make it worse. It's messed up. Am I the a-hole for making fun of a white girl for being poor because she was being racist? I'm Asian. More specifically, one of the only Chinese people in my grade, which has been absolutely fun these days. So the girl in question has been racially harassing me since the beginning of lockdown, and when she DM'd me and said, did the bat taste good? Thanks a lot, you freaking freak. I reported her to my school, and they literally just dropped it because they said tensions were high and she couldn't be blamed because her uncle had corona, some BS like that. Then I got repeated messages like that from fake/newly created accounts that I suspect were from her, and I just keep blocking them until I guess she gave up because I wasn't reacting. My school district has chosen to do in-person, massively dumb IMO, but whatever. On the literal second day of school, she walks up to me while I'm in lunch line and says in a thick Asian accent, are you eating bat dumpling or dog noodle? Other people around me freaking laughed, and I'm sure I don't have to explain this, but I felt freaking humiliated. It finally felt like I got off her back for a little while, and she comes back as soon as school starts, and I already know my school administration isn't going to go to bat for me. I don't know a lot about this girl, since obviously I try to avoid her, but I did know that she had bad teeth, lived in a trailer, and was very poor. I'm ashamed to have stooped to this, but I just wanted to show her how I felt for once. So I said, I'd be less concerned with what I'm eating if I were you, and more worried about your diet, since you're the one who needs to figure out how to brush your teeth in a trailer with no running water. Stop trying to get sent to the hospital when you can't afford healthcare. Other students nearby told me I went too far because it wasn't her fault she was poor, like it was my fault I was Asian. She literally cried, like I didn't cry every time she called me an effing C-slur. She's left me alone since then though, which doesn't matter since I plan on transferring anyways. Not the a-hole. Yeah, two wrongs don't make a right, but this was the only way to get her to STFU. Don't dish stuff out if you can't take stuff back. If racist you be, get no sympathy from me. I think that's poetry for not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. You went through the appropriate channels and were ignored. You did what you had to do to protect yourself. I agree. If someone's gonna make fun of you for being a race, a specific race, for being Chinese, you can go to bat and make fun of them for being poor. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Am I the a-hole for taking back the beer I bought for a party from which I was uninvited? This happened just a few hours ago. I'm a 19-year-old man, and the people calling me an a-hole are 18-year-old men and women. On Thursday, a person I had a major crush on in high school, but who rejected me, messaged me out of the blue. She had never contacted me without me contacting her first, and at one point I realized she had me blocked on social media, and so I found it odd that she was suddenly being friendly. After sending a couple of greetings and questions about how I've been, she said that she was going to have some people over and wanted to know if I would get the beer. The drinking age where we are is 19, and she